Hi guys, welcome to Wamu's World. I got a lot to talk about today, um, but first I just wanted to say um, thank you to all of my old members who have subscribed, liked, and subscribed, who have really just kind of been there for me when it comes to Wamu's World. I really appreciate the support. I really appreciate the following, and um, so just FYI, I wanted to talk about something I started, which I'm not gonna lie. Um, I really thought about it like time and time again. Do I really want to do it? I always told myself like if I move to like a bigger city, then I'll do it just because it'll just be a more variety. I would say, um, and actually started it. So it's a meetup group in Dallas. I put the age for 30 and up because that's kind of the age range I'm in. As I've said before, I've considered myself a Kenyan American. The reason I don't say African American is because it really doesn't give, it doesn't give justice. It doesn't give an explanation of like my immediate family, which most of my immediate family lives in Kenya, and most of them are Kenyan. So it's just actually all of them are. So yeah, it just wouldn't make sense to be called that. And anybody that is a first gen, they know that. They're very aware of like the dichotomy of being in that position. So yeah, both of my parents are Kenyan, but I was born and raised in North Carolina, born in Raleigh. And there's just a lot of experiences that you go through being a first gen, and some good, some bad and ugly. But there's an experience we have that can is only shared amongst us. And I just wanted to create that space. I've been dreaming about it. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys, it's one of my dreams. And so when I made the group, I was like, I made it yesterday. I was like, I don't know if anybody will join. And now I have 9 members, so I'm really excited. And we're having our first meetup on Sunday. I know you guys are like, okay, but I'm just, and correct me if I'm wrong. And it's for first gen Africans and Caribbeans, Caribbean Americans. So first gen African Americans and Caribbeans. The reason I say African American in the title is just because you can be from any African country. So I didn't want to say I'm Kenyan American and someone else might be Nigerian American, someone else might be Moroccan American. So I didn't want to. I just put it as African American in the title. And the reason I put first gen Africans and Caribbean Americans and other, the other is pertaining to the American portion. You may have somebody that is like me. They have both parents that are Kenyan, but they were raised in UK. And I realized being in a bigger city in Dallas, like there's a lot more. I mean, growing up, I met different types of first gen. So for me, it's just kind of like this is a very, very good like pretty much it includes everybody, And I also put one or both parents because you may be somebody that one of your parents is, but the other one isn't. Or maybe of another race, maybe of another. Just go back to my video when I talked about the different categories, which I feel like a lot of people liked that video. Um, yeah, check that video out and you kind of get an idea of what I'm talking about. Um, anyway, let's get to it. I called this video Peace Over Everything. Peace is what I fight for in this world. Like, I don't think that I have, I'll say this kindly, I don't think I have taken enough time to really think about what is better or good for me. I think a lot of the time I'm just rushing into stuff and it's just like, that's not how you go about life. So, peace over everything. And by the way, this is probably the last time, the only, not last, yeah, last time I'm going to talk about this because when I'm done, when I'm finished in a relationship, it's almost like a funeral. I mourn, I, you know, condolences, I mourn, and then I'm done. I'm just done. I don't look back. I only look forward. So this is the only time I'll talk about this. But as some of you may have not known, I was in a relationship for 6 months, give or take. but it was about 6 months. And I thought, I thought this guy possibly was the one. I did. But sometimes, when you really love someone, which I did love this guy, it can really blind you to red flags. You want something so bad, but the red flags are just waving in your face. They're just waving in your face, and you're just like, oh well, that's not that important, but it is. God, that's why I thank God for distance. So yes, this was a long distance thing, but I actually met this person in Dallas, just by chance. But we met virtually in 2019. So we knew of each other, but we hadn't actually met in person, which was kind of like, weird. But it was kind of like a fantasy. It was kind of exciting, because it was just like, wow, like this may be something big. This may be so. But anyway, I honesty and trust is everything for me. I mean, honesty and trust are important to me. Loyalty is everything. Communication is major. I mean, if you don't even have a good grounding on those things, it's just not going to work. And granted, because of the profession he had, and I don't like to, not going to go into detail. And as I said, this is probably the last time this is the last time I'm going to speak about this. But because of his profession, I did get a lot of people in the Dallas area, and I'm not going to call names, I'm not a snitch. But I did get people in the Dallas area telling me, or who were surrounded by me, or yeah, that surrounded me, that, this guy's not, he's going to use you. He probably got a chick in every state. He's this, that, and the third. I mean, maybe you're just one of his groupies in Dallas. And yeah, I saw that coming. I saw those comments coming. But I am that girl who gives people the benefit of the doubt, because I'm just one of those people. I wholeheartedly believe that some people are put into boxes based off what they do, or based off their profession, and sometimes people don't take time to get to know that person. They may be completely different than what you think. So I said, fuck what everybody else is saying. I don't give a shit. And I just was whatever. And funny enough, slightly my intuition was correct about that. Not everything, but some. But this is the thing. When you're given red flags, whether that be while you're with someone, or even before, and I'm not gonna lie to you guys, red flags are always given to you before. You know what you're dealing with. I'm talking to myself. Like, you know what you're dealing with. You do. You're not dumb. But when you have all the red flags and evidence, and you're privy to information, you can't be dumb. You can't be stupid, and you can't be dumb. I like saying that together. One time my dad actually told me that. He was like, you can't be stupid and you can't be dumb. And I was like, where the hell did you like, where the hell did you come up with that? But anyway, you just can't waste your time. You can't even be respectful once you're privy to information and red flags. You can't even, there's some moments you can't even be respectful. You just have to just keep it moving. I don't like people who are not upfront with me. I like mystery, but I like to know also what I'm dealing with. And if you don't tell me what I'm dealing with, I'll find out. That always happens. I don't ask for it. It just comes to me. If you're not upfront with me, it's draining. And if you stay with someone who drains you, or drains you just due to the way they're acting, it's like mentally, physically, emotionally, it's gonna drain. It's gonna bleed you dry. And people don't understand that. I think people don't understand how important peace is. If it drains you dry, it's like you're physically not good. Like it's physically, mentally, spiritually not good. You are sick. And people can make you sick. Like people can take you to a point where you start, even questioning, is this even healthy? Is this even good for me? Didn't feel like he was present. Didn't feel like he was serious. And I should have known that in the beginning. So joke's on me. It's okay to take it now. It's just, and that's why you guys see my demeanor. I'm just like, because I knew it. I knew. Um, I really take personal blame. I blame myself for playing in that yard. Um, but one thing I know about me and I love about me is that I always find the information I need, whether I try and find it or not. It just comes to me anyway. I had already done like kind of like a what you call like a background check. I don't trust. I mean, I live in a big city. I don't trust anybody. Like, you can't be out here and just be with anybody and not do your research. I did a background check, and not background check the one you sign up for. I did my own personal background check. Um, I'm not stupid. So I knew respectfully I was dealing with a character, and I mean that respectfully, not in a disrespectful way. I just knew I was dealing with a specific type of person, and so with that background, I took that in, and I was like, okay, people can show you a different side of them. So I also kind of let that slide, you know. Um, Once again, like, I'm one of those people make mistakes, and I don't want to hold that over someone's head. So when I meet someone, it's actually a clean slate. It doesn't matter what people are saying on the outside, or whether people, have a certain history or whatever. Like, I let that go, and I say I'm going to take that person for what they're giving me. You know, I don't. But at the same time, don't think I'm dumb. Don't think I don't have something stored up here. But yeah. Some of the philosophies this guy had about marriage, relationships, love, dated back to the 1800s. It just wasn't realistic to today. Even the views, it just wasn't. And I think that comes more from, you know, growing up in different spaces. I don't think it's something bad, but it's not something that worked for me. That's why I say people's beliefs, it might be a belief system that works for them, and it may be a belief system that works for where they're from and where they're living, and but that didn't work for me. Um, I also got this thing of like, and guys, these are the red flags. These are like things you're like, oh, okay, this isn't working, or you know, something is off, or like these are just the red flags, right? I think he'd also been hurt by past partners, and all of us have our baggage. Everybody has people they've been hurt by. Shit, I do. Um, but this was a deeper hurt that I think I was able to. I don't think I was able to handle that hurt. I've forgiven people of my past. Like I've forgiven people. I've forgiven friends who have done me wrong. I've forgiven, exes and ex fiancés that have, done shitty things to me. I have let that go, because if you don't let it go, it's just gonna simmer in your system. Um, I happened to just meet somebody that hadn't let it go. They hadn't let their past go. They lived there. They lived in their past, um, and it was very negative. And I felt that I was almost in a karmic situation where it's like, here's your test. Now you are looking into the mirror of someone who has not healed from past things. And you've been there. You've seen what it's like. You know how that feels. You feel everybody around you is out to get you. You feel like, all men or all women are dogs. Like, you're in that space. Um, but I'm not in that space anymore. I'm just not. I'm not negative. I think everybody is different, and everybody has a different type of personality, and not everybody's the same. So I just wasn't ready. I knew that if I get with this person for real, and I was with him for real, but if I continue this, I will be put through I would be put through an ultimate series of tests, because of not being healed up. Um, I was going to be put through those tests. I knew it. I knew it was coming because I have been there before. I've done it. I've worn the t-shirt. I know what it is. If you aren't healed from your past, if you go with someone who's not healed from their past, they will put you through the series of tests just to feel secure about themselves. And I felt it. I felt it. I saw it. I wasn't even affected by it. I just saw it, which was kind of weird. I was like, why am I in this again? I felt the tests. I felt the the negative energy. I felt it. I just didn't. I just said, you know what? I'm gonna just keep on going. Um, the thing is, this person would talk about people who are about him in his DMs. He would talk about these people who are interested in him. Um, and granted, that's great. I have a lot of people in my DMs. I mean, I have my YouTube show. There's always people in my DMs, but those are just people who watch my show. I don't need. They're people who watch my show. I don't have like a personal relationship with them except people who are like my friends and in NC and everything like that, in other places. But I just felt like he really cared about that. Like he really would tell me like this person's talking to me, this person talking to me, this person. It's almost like I don't really care. I don't care. And also, why would it matter if I'm your girlfriend? Like, why do you give a fuck who's talking to you all the time? Like, who cares? I could tell you this guy is in my DMs. You don't want to. You just don't want to be disrespected. I felt like that was a form of disrespect. And I also felt like it was a form of I also felt like it was lack of self-confidence, because if you need that to lift you up, and you don't feel confident with me, and you need that kind of thing to lift you up, then what are we doing here? You know what I mean? Like, it's just a respect thing. And it could be a cultural thing. Maybe you don't give a shit. Maybe I'm just a woman, like, I don't know what that is, but for me, nah. Um, like I said before, like, how does it make you feel? Like how did you think it made me feel? How did you think I was dealing with you telling me that stuff? Like, did you think I was gonna get jealous? I'm not jealous because I'm just not. I can't be jealous, but I find that as a form of disrespect, though. You know. Um, yeah. And I'm not one of those chicks who checks a guy's phone. That's not me. Whatever information I need, it will come to me. I stay prayed up, so that's not going to be an issue. I'm protected fully by my ancestors. And I don't know what it is in my mom's side of the family or her line, but I am very intuitive. I get dreams, and I have spiritually have a very great connection with, you know, that another realm, like, or that realm of like outside this earth. Like, I not what I mean by outside this earth is more of like I have a spiritual connection. I have intuition. I have this ability to really be able to be like, something's not right. I have that in me. And yeah, something in my mom's line where they're able to predict things. I'm able to do that. Like, weirdly enough, that's just something that was given to me. So never worried about getting information or being privy to information. And that's why I never check a guy's phone. I don't feel the need to, because whatever you're looking for, you're gonna find it. Trust me. Even the nicest of people, you're gonna find it. So you make that decision. Yeah. And another thing, guys, just because, and I mean this respectfully, just because someone is of a certain caliber, have a certain profession, have, maybe a profession or status, or they're at or they're in a profession where maybe they're looked at a lot, or maybe they get all this attention and all that jazz, you can't guarantee the self-confidence is there. A lot of people, I feel, hide behind their profession, or hide behind what they've accomplished, or hide behind a status. But at the end of the day, there's got to be a person there. It just can't be your profession or your status or how many likes you get or how many people like you or how many like that. There's a real world. There's a real world. And if that's the only thing that validates you, that's not something I can connect with. Yeah. But once again, I blame myself. That was a red flag. I sensed this heavily in the beginning, but I decided to just keep going. My intuition is high. It's really there, but I choose to ignore it. It's really my choice. I choose to ignore it. And so I have to be really careful when I go in this world and meet people, because I'm always going to end up in the same. I really feel like the relationship I had for 6 months, I really feel that that was a karmic loop. I think it was more of like, you've been through this before, but I'm going to put you through this again. And I want to see whether you come out on the other side. And I did. I came out on the other side, and I was very, in a weird way, I was very like, okay, like, this is a test that I may have just passed. Because, trust me, I feel that if I had stayed in this, it just wouldn't have been my fairy tale ending. And the reason it didn't hurt as bad as I thought it would is because I've done self-work. I was doing self-work prior to meeting this person. I started all this self-work and like counseling and all this stuff because I realized that you always have to check in. You always have to make sure you're good. You always have to make sure that everything is, whether, you might have like baggage, or maybe something's come up again, or maybe you have an issue with, just life in general. And, you always have to get, just check up and make sure you're good. In self-work, I mean, like, I've done a lot of writing. I've done a lot of like, group meetups and stuff like that. And I have worked on myself. It's not easy, and I don't think I'm perfect, but I have really worked on myself. And I think this was really kind of like, in a weird way, like a blessing in disguise that, maybe the person I was talking to, maybe he hadn't worked on himself, Sometimes I think God gives us reflections, like either reflections of who we are currently or reflections of what we used to be. He's what I used to be. And not in the sense of like, I'm so, concerned, or maybe, so concerned about who's talking to me in the DMs and all that stuff. Like, that's never been a type of personality that I have. But maybe more in the sense of like, I haven't forgiven. I think all women are dogs. I think all men are dogs. I think I'm not in that space anymore. I've been there, done it, worn the t-shirt and the shoes, but I'm not, my mind is not there, because I've done the self-work. So that's why, not gonna lie, this isn't as difficult. My first major breakup, that was difficult, but this isn't. It's not it's difficult, but it's not as difficult. And can I be honest, guys? Like, if I had stayed, because you guys are probably wondering, what do you think would have happened if you stayed? If I had stayed in this relationship, I would have willingly had a child, right, with this person. And I had a dream about this, actually. I would have had a child with this person willingly, and this person would have, after I have the kid, would have dropped me like a bag of warus. Nothing. Like, I'm just nothing. And I know that would have happened. It would have been finito. Like, it would have been done. Like, the weirdest part, sorry, warus are potatoes in Kikuyu. That would have been the end of that story. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that my mind, there was a conversation I had one time with this guy, and I already knew exactly. I had already gotten my answer. Just didn't want to believe it. But yeah, I feel like that's the type of person that he would continue that process. Once he reaches maybe his 10 kids, like, maybe when he gets 70 and he doesn't have any energy, he'll just go with the person that, will take care of him for the rest of his life. And that's really the ending to that story. Um, that's what I predicted. That's actually what I had a dream about. Even prior to breaking up with him, I had that dream. And granted, it kind of matched up with. Anyway, but that's it. Um, Another thing I really did feel that, and this is going to be a longer video because I know I'm not coming back till March, but another thing I did feel um, is that I'm Kenyan American, right? That's the reason I'm making that group actually, is because, we have similar experiences, but, or first gens have similar experiences, but I'm Kenyan American, I was born here, my parents were born in Kenya. I almost felt like he was going with me because of that. And because I had the physique, and I'm saying in a respectful way for myself, I had the physique, big ass, that he was looking for. I had the physique. And I had that different aspect about me, that I'm Kenyan American. Sometimes I wonder about people like that, just because you can be intrigued by something that's different, but I realize some people can't even handle different. Some people are just so blinded by, like, oh my gosh, and then, like, they don't even know how to handle it. They don't even know how to communicate with you. They just more interested in the, the physique and the look and the background, and it's like, you're, I'm a human being. I'm more than just that. And I don't even think you'd be able to understand my layers. I think, is it the red pill and the blue pill? My mind has seen things in different ways. I have a third eye. I can see things probably differently than he can. And that's just due to growing up and due to being exposed and due to just seeing things. I just felt like I was multifaceted, and he was just kind of like, it wouldn't work. I don't think you could understand the depths of my thoughts. And I don't think you could understand the depths of my experiences. So sometimes it's just, different. It's just different. But I just felt that heavy, that I was not really being treated as a person. I was being treated, as an entity or just a thing. It's just something that's intriguing. It's something that's new and different. But there's no substance there. So that's why, I even asked myself, why am I staying in here for 6 months? Is it really that? Am I really in that need of wanting to be in a relationship? And maybe that's how I was feeling at the time. I mean, right now, no, I'm not really in that space. Yeah, but the one thing that really put the broke the camel's back, is that how you say it? Was when I asked him, hey, like, when are you coming? Like, when are you gonna be back? Like, didn't give me an answer. Just said, I don't know when I'm gonna be back. I can come back anytime. Okay, so when the fuck are you gonna be back? Like, I don't understand. Like, what's this? Well, I can come back anytime. I just need to get these few things situated. And then I'm back to dating Casper the Ghost. So, yeah, that was a really big red flag. I'm not trying to date a pen pal. Dude, if you're not going to ever come back, or you're not going to come back for a while, just take the L and realize, like, maybe this wasn't meant to be, and maybe we weren't supposed to go anywhere from here, because I don't want to waste my time, and respectfully. It's not even in a mean way, it's just respectfully. Like, don't waste my time. But like I said before, God will give you the same test over and over and over and over and over again. And I got tested with, are you going to read the red flags? I didn't in the beginning. I didn't. Also, the other test of, are you putting your peace before everything? Does this feel easy? I know you guys saw my comment about taking shits. I had somebody that actually, so whoever didn't read my status or whatever, I was talking about, like, how relationships, I relate them to shits. Having a you don't want to have constipation. You don't want to feel that, you feel like basically like feeling like you're having constipation, feeling like something like a log is coming out of your ass. You don't want to feel that. That's tough. That's rough. Yet, you want, those smooth shits, the ones you have in the morning, that just release the endorphins you need and gets you started with your day. You want relationships to feel easy. No heavy pushing. That's what I wrote, because this didn't feel easy. It felt secretive. It didn't feel organic. It didn't feel natural. It felt almost like I was an object. And that's not what I wasn't brought in this world because of that. I'm more than that, honestly. And I'm not mad. I am sad. I wish things could have worked out, but not too sad, because I know that I pretty much dodged a situation that could have just really ended up nowhere, or ended up in the pits. So, yeah. That's the only energy I'm going to give to that. I will never speak of this again. But I did learn, and I want to share that with you guys, so that, like, maybe if you go and you may see yourself in a similar situation, not a bad situation, just a similar situation, that you take the precautions that are needed. You listen to the red flags in the beginning and you keep it moving, and you don't waste your time. I don't feel like I wasted too much time, but I did waste time because I stayed in it. I was staying in something that just didn't make any logical sense. Yeah. But I hope you guys have an amazing week. Stay woke, stay blessed. I'm doing quite fine. Emotionally, I'm doing good. I just want to focus on my projects. I want to focus on my projects. I want to go out. I want to have a good time. And that's where my head's at, actually. And I'm very, very, like, in a positive space. I want to remain here. I feel like almost like a weight lifted off my shoulders. I almost feel like a feather floating, because it's just, I'm very aware of what's going on around me, and I'm happy about that, because it wasn't always that way. So, please, continue to like, subscribe, and comment to my channel. I will be back in March. Stay real woke. Stay real woke. Stay blessed, and I'll see you guys in March. And you guys have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful weekend. Bye, guys.